Position's clear. We are the tip of the spear. The spark became a fire. Now the fire's burning here. Together we will fly. The tip of the spear.
Welcome, everybody, to February's edition of Tip of the Spear. How is everybody doing? Whew, that's a big one. All right, let's start at the top. Mr. Gene, how are you doing today, sir?
Outstanding, sir. Thank you. Honored as usual to be joining this fine group of extremely good-looking folks and Tim. This is awesome. I love you, bro.
Here, you know what? Just for that, I'm going to put Tim right next to you.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Tim, how are you, sir?
Good to be here, Willis. And I've been wanting to ask you this since the pre-chat show. Did you forget to shave this morning, mate?
No. It's been a couple mornings.
A decade.
It's maybe a decade, maybe. All right, Gunny, how are you, sir?
Sore. I think I pulled something in my shoulder when I was transitioning, doing some of the exercises that have been prescribed, but I pushed through today, and then got a couple suits ready. Got a trip in the morning, go see the big prominent White House on Friday, and then we got the gala on Friday night, and I'll be back home on Saturday night, maybe Saturday afternoon.
Are you worried about the snowstorm that just went through the East Coast?
Not worried about anything, dude.
All right.
There's some snow shoveling jobs out there too.
Yeah, I'm not going that far.
I'm just saying.
I'm not going that far north, and I don't carry that many IDs with me.
Just
so.
need 5.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, Rich LaMonica, how are you, sir?
Doing good. Still riding the high of Team USA winning the gold after 46 years.
Yes, sir.
Heck
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
There it is.
Heck yeah. All right, Mr. Sean, how are you, sir?
This is my favorite family. I know I only make it here about quarterly, but it's always enjoyable. It's good to see you guys again, all of you, and just looking forward to a great conversation. And things are going well. Enjoying life.
Awesome. Miss Carol Lee, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's great to be back here.
Heck yeah, I love it. All right, Theory, welcome back, brother.
Hola.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Just finished eating some frozen pizza for dinner.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So
Did you bring
Was
me
it at
any?
least DiGiorno?
no, absolutely not. I got you ever heard of Home Run In?
Is it good?
So it's a Chicago company, but they sell them here at the Meijer, and it will change your life. So if you ever see Home Run In frozen pizza, you're welcome. Buy it, and you're welcome. Just trust me,
All right.
I'll have to check that out when I get back from DC.
please.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to Meyer and get it.
You will not regret it. They're expensive. They're like $9 a pie, but it's well worth it.
Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. So a lot has happened since the last time that we were on Tip of the Spear. And I know, Rich, you got a topic you want to bring up. Let's dive right into that. Right off the cut.
All right. Well, last week, the Shock and Awe campaign of the VA started with their new amendment to basically punish you if you take your meds, which caused an awesome outrage amongst every veteran that is affected by it. And through silent voices, we're no longer silent. They were outraged. They let their voices heard. They signed a petition. They let their Congress people know. They let their state representatives know. And all of a sudden, that amendment was frozen or stopped for now until they can rethink better ways to mess us over. And I think everyone on this panel chimed in when it came out because it affects each one of us in a different way. And I think it's a classless move to do that, 100% classless move. And I think it's reaching for straws when you don't have to.
Yeah. So what I didn't like about it is, like you said, they passed this law that if you're taking medicine and that medicine is making you better, and I'm going to put better in quotation marks, um, that um, they're going to lower your VA rating because of that. And it's just like, what the heck is going on?
But they
So
already do that. So let's stop real quick. When they issue your hearing aids and they issue your CPAP, they already do that already, right? So that's been happening within the VA system for years. They're just now making it public that they're going to do it with certain meds.
Well,
Okay.
okay, but don't you think that at some point would make veterans who are, let's say, going for an increase, right? They're fighting for their increase. Don't you think that would negatively impact that fight to get that increase, or even
It
prevent
can anyway.
people
It
from
can
wanting to
anyway.
try it?
Even without meds, if you go, like I'm at 100%, so I don't have to worry about anything. I don't want anything else done with the VA. I'm done, right? But when I went from 90 to 100, as soon as I open that new claim, they have the right to look at everything and downgrade certain things, whether you're on meds or not. So you have to be careful when you're dealing with the VA and your ratings. And a lot of people don't understand that and know that.
See, now on the outside here, as the token civvy here.
No, Carol's a civvy too.
All right. Yep. All right. There we
You're
are,
not,
Carol.
you're not alone today, Gene.
Right. That feels good. Feels good. I never feel alone around you guys. What are you talking about? No, I'll tell you, and see if anybody agrees with me on this. I'm just going to shoot you straight on what I saw because I did some research and found out exactly what Gunny just stated. What this felt like to me, because we live in this era now, is manufacture the problem, resolve the problem, look good resolving the problem. See, we got your back. This felt so theatrical that it was just oozing with like a script almost to me, that they had to know what the hell was going to come out by making that information public. I mean, I know we like to poke fun a lot, but they're not that oblivious. I mean, they know public image, right? I mean, if there's one thing they pay attention to, it's what the newspaper looks like, type thing. So on the outside, man, it just felt like this just doesn't strike right, man. Something about this is fishy.
But wasn't it something that was just passed into effect to start, like recently? Like
New claims, it claimed.
New
It said that old
claims,
stuff,
and
yeah.
then the med side of it. So they haven't been doing anything with the meds of reducing your stuff, but they've been doing it with your hearing aids and your CPAP, right? So they just made it public that, hey, if you're on X medication, if you have post-traumatic stress and it's manageable, or you have decreased stuff, or you stop seeing your psychiatrist, psychologist, then we're going to lower your stuff, right? And then, right, so that all started an uprising and all the veterans talking about it. But what else happened? They also said they're going to stop reporting about if you own firearms and you're taking XYZ meds. And they've been reporting for years, and we all knew it. And they're like, no, we don't do that. Well, obviously you were, because now you're saying we're not going to do this anymore.
Right.
So they've been hiding behind their lies forever with this.
It wasn't just if they were on meds. If they had a fiduciary, it was the reason why they were reporting for decades. And it just means you're incompetent. But now, if you're incompetent, you can own a gun. Basically, is what it's saying.
Yeah.
Well, then,
So can I offer a different kind of perspective? Like I see where a lot of people are getting frustrated, and like, hi guys, I'm Marie. For those of you who
Welcome
don't know
back.
me, I am the co-host for Every Day's a Saturday USMC Veteran Coffee Talk. And what Gene was just saying about the whole, they know that people are seeing this, and it's a big splash, right? So my perspective is I see a couple different sides on everything. And one of the big ones is, as a recovery advocate, I understand where they are coming from in the aspect of they don't want people being stuck in victim mentality anymore. because there's so many people that are getting their disability and they're taking their meds, but they're really still stuck in victim mentality where I'm broken and I can't do anything, and they're still kind of lost in that kind of mentality. They just assume they're taking meds, they're always going to be this person that's struggling with PTSD, right? And now I know that PTSD is something that we will have for our entire lives, or mental health or disability, right? But there are times that things are better, times that things are worse. I get that, I'm right there. But the perspective that I'm seeing with this is that idea that they want people to say, hey, if these meds are helping you, if these devices, like for me, I've got different devices, I wear braces on my legs, if they're helping you, hey, let's get you back into the workforce. We don't want you feeling, and not just in the workforce, but also just into like volunteering or doing more things. And so I think, and I could be completely wrong, but I think that that's kind of more of what they're trying to go towards, is like, hey, people, you don't have to be a victim. If these meds are working,
But it shouldn't affect your rating, because the rating affects your pay.
Yes. And so and that's the thing is I see both sides of it, because I also don't think that people's livelihood should be affected by temporarily feeling better, because that's the thing is meds are a temporary thing. And so I understand them wanting to encourage people to get into the workforce. And I also understand, let's not mess with our disability. Like you can say, you can change up, and I put a comment on that .gov thing for this thing. But I think that if people are really wanting to mess around with stuff like this, they should be messing around with the standards for unemployability. Because my understanding is that is what unemployability is for. Is, hey, if you are doing better, you don't need to be unemployable. If you're doing worse, you can be unemployable. So what I don't understand is why they're affecting the rating. So if they're wanting to change it, mess with that part instead. But I also see, the other sides.
But they're not going to do anything with the unemployability, right? Because if, like me at 100%, straight up 100%, I can work and make X amount, whatever money I want. But the unemployability, you can only make, what is it, $1,300 a month or something like that, $1,100 a month, or $13,300, whatever the magic dollar is, right? So they want people on that unemployability, so they have to rely on the VA, instead of giving people 100%. That's why it's so hard to go from 90 to 100. It's almost double in pay from 90 to 100.
Yeah. See, anytime the solution involves the people of the program paying the weight, I immediately know what their motivation is.
Yeah.
Okay. We have an infrastructure problem, so the result must be more taxes. It couldn't be that we're wasting the money you give us. No, it couldn't be that. So I hope and wish for the good idea that they have the right motivations, but the fact is, it seemed like to me that the only resolution they were firing was going to end up hitting the people that this program was serving, not them. You know what I mean? And so immediately I'm like, smells bad.
Somebody had said something in one of the posts I saw, and it kind of resonated with me. And they said that it should, in no way should it affect any ratings, because we weren't medicated when we signed the dotted line.
Right.
So you shouldn't be like everybody says that your VA compensation every month is not, it's VA disability, but it's like, it's not your disability pension. It's a benefit that veterans get for injuries obtained during your time in service. Right. So that's why, Gunny, he can work. It's just the way that it is. So it's like, I think a lot of veterans who share that mentality where it's like, I'm not disabled. I'm being compensated. It's my compensation for my time in service and the injuries that I sustained during my time in service. And if the VA is trying to, whether they're trying to cut spending or whether they're trying to budget more or better, whatever the case may be, it shouldn't affect my benefits, because they're not just going to throw medicine at me and be like, if this is making it better, we're going to cut your pay down, because I didn't have to take medication to be good enough to go serve.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't be treated that way getting out, with injuries sustained throughout my time in service. You know, some are visible, some are not. So it's like, you know, all these things kind of play a part in that. And I think that it's really, I mean, it's just my opinion, but I think it kind of deters veterans from wanting to either continue to fight for an increase because they're worried the VA would be like, I mean, like you said, you know, Gunny said, you know, they have the right to reopen your whole jacket and they can lower your stuff right then and there. And you know, I've seen plenty of examples and people who have been on my social media feeds commenting on this, saying that they went to go fight for an increase and the VA actually decreased their rating.
Yep.
And they went from like 80% to 60%.
Yeah.
And it's like, me, I'm at 80% right now, and I've been wanting to fight for that 100%. And I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't worried, especially with this put in place now, that they wouldn't just be like, okay, so I have my right and left sciatica on there because it's real bad. I have nerve damage in my back. So I wouldn't want them to be like, hey, we're just going to give you a script for gabapentin or whatever the case may be, some kind of muscle relaxer, put me on pills. Is it helping? Okay, let's go ahead and lower your dose. Let's go ahead and lower your pay because you're dosing on this medication and it's helping. It's going to make veterans want to A, stop taking their meds.
Yep.
Or B, it's going to make, because any veteran, I guarantee you, if you're making, you know, $2,400 a month at 80%, you're not going to take your medication and sacrifice $600-700 a month. You're just going to tough it out, and that's going to be harmful for the veterans that are doing that. So I think that
But some of those meds are harmful if you stay on them long term, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Like
secondary effects of your meds.
Gabapentin is
But
narcotic.
what's
That's
anal
not-
leakage among friends? I mean,
Right.
Yeah. But like,
Yeah,
that's
no one's talking
kind of the whole
about
thing
the
that I'm
cost
getting
of
at, though,
taking
is
these things. When they give you these pills, no one talks about the cost of taking them and also how hard it is to get off of them. I wish I knew that before I lost 6 years of my life.
yeah. And I mean, you know, my wife, you know, after her you know, brain surgeries last year, you know, we're coming up on a year of post surgery in April. And I mean, she got gabapentin for like a muscle relaxer because she had a lot of, I guess, problems with the soreness, and because it was all, you know, up here with her brain, it was affecting a bunch of her, you know, other parts of her body.
Yeah.
So she was given gabapentin, and she's like, I don't like taking it because I feel zombified when I take it. So if I go to the VA and I'm like, hey, I want to open a claim to, you know, maybe add something that, you know, that has been affected with that's how my sciatica got put on because of the nerve damage in my back. And when I went to the VA to get from 40 to 80% a couple years ago, they noticed that my sciatica was a cause, and they put all the information in, and that's what helped get me bumped from 40 to 80. But it's like, if they were to just throw gabapentin or some kind of medicine at me, I don't want to take that shit. I don't even like taking Tylenol if I don't have to.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of negative effects that can come from this, and they're looking at it from what's the responsible thing to do that makes us look the best, that we're trying to help the veteran community. But in fact, I feel like they'd be hurting the veteran community in a lot more ways than they would be helping.
Yeah.
So can I tell you just a quick story for myself? So what you're saying, I've actually experienced that, you know, with the taking the meds and then it being harmful. So when I first got sober, because I was, you know, like way lost in, you know, they were just giving me pain pills, and then I was on drugs and alcohol, and, you know, I was just not in a good place because I wasn't actually addressing my stuff. And when I got sober and all my mental health stuff hit, they put me on these different meds. They actually had misdiagnosed me as bipolar. And they diagnosed me bipolar, borderline with PTSD. They started me on a whole bunch of different meds, and I was on those meds for 5 years. And those meds helped me for a few years. But after about 5 years, once I did trauma therapy and started processing through the stuff that I had going on, they realized, oh, you're not bipolar, you're just borderline. And the difference is one is a chemical imbalance and one is an emotional balance. And so after those 5 years, after I did the trauma therapy, they had me on 5 different mental health medications at that time, and gabapentin was one of them. And 2 of them were sleep, and then there was 2 other, an antidepressant and anti-anxiety. And so I was on 5 different meds. All of a sudden I started having cognitive processing problems and memory problems and all sorts of stuff. And so this is where I see on the other side, hey, don't mess with our disability, because it happened like almost overnight that everything just got so bad so quickly. And I ended up having to go into the psych unit again because I got suicidal again.
Yeah.
And in the psych unit, they detoxed me off of 5 medications in 2 weeks. And the issue is some of these meds needed 6 months to titrate. They took me off everything in 2 weeks. And it was bad. It was super, super bad. And, luckily for me, I haven't been able to go, I haven't needed to go back on meds once I finally relaxed, because mine is an emotional imbalance. And as long as I'm emotionally being treated, I don't need the meds. But I can't imagine if they would have taken my disability for those 5 years. And then all of a sudden I crashed that flipping hard. And then I'm like, well, now I'm screwed because I can't do anything and I've got no money. So I understand that mistakes are made and things like that happen. And like I said before, like, I don't think that we should be punished for temporary successes.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So
before real quick, Steve-O put something in here about, everybody who served honorably should have 10% automatic. As soon as you fire a machine gun or weapon system, you can get PTSD. I'm going to disagree with the post-traumatic stress piece.
Yeah.
I will say, on the other hand, traumatic brain injury, because you are dealing with the concussion and the back blast, right? And that will affect your cognitive functions over time. Not to count the chemicals from your CLP that's getting blasted back into your face, and you're breathing it in, going into your ducts and everything else. So
But
I would say
you could get PTSD from it as well. In the aspect, there's a couple different forms of PTSD, and one of them is moral injury. And if you have been taught to stay away from guns, but you're being taught how to kill, that is a moral injury that can cause a form of PTSD.
But I also think with that being said, I'm a very firm believer that when you sign up to join any branch of the United States military, you should be more than understanding.
Unless you're a chaplain.
Yeah. or Desmond Doss.
But you should
the expectation is there.
You should be more than understanding that you're going into the United States Armed Forces. The Armed Forces is there to protect, and you are taught to defeat the enemy at all costs, no matter what branch it's going around, unless you're,
it's not called the unarmed forces.
Right. It's not the unarmed forces. Yeah.
And a lot of those issues will come out at recruit training or your advanced training when you're dealing with those firearms too. So now you're going to get a failure to adapt discharge.
Yeah. I had quite a few people in my platoon in boot camp that were separated in boot camp because of failure to adapt to a military lifestyle. There was a guy that tried to, himself with his bootlaces because he said that he felt traumatized after actually firing one of his rifles. And I was just like, I mean, it's not for everybody, but I don't. It's like, what was that one news reporter? He was like turned into a meme for the longest time because he fired a rifle and he went and claimed that he got
wasn't that he was running, but didn't he run for vice president?
I think it was something like he ran for some kind of public
with Kamala.
No, Tim Walz.
Tim Walz.
That's a whole other story.
No, that's a whole other.
I thought he did too. I thought he was like he did too, and he was carrying around.
That's Dean's guy.
Yeah, no, there was. I think he was like a news reporter or something, or some kind of reporter for some media agency, and he fired a rifle, and he claimed that he got PTSD, and like the veteran community just lit this dude up.
So, what were you going to say just a minute ago, Carol Lee, before Gunny cut you off?
He did that. It was just double speak. Basically, just to piggyback on the gabapentin, most of you who know me know I have 2 Marine veteran sons, and my youngest veteran son, when he ended up with Bell's palsy from the COVID shot and he got that trigeminal neuralgia, and they put him on gabapentin, and they had, because I mean, he was a stick to begin with. He was lucky to make it 150 pounds, and his metabolism is so fast. They had to bump it to the max dosage, 3,600 milligrams a day of gabapentin. And the adverse reaction to that was he couldn't walk. It made him so dizzy, and his equilibrium was shot. He ended up with hearing issues, memory loss. He couldn't hardly put a full sentence together properly. He and some vision loss also ended up with that. And the gabapentin is so toxic, especially for taking it for such a long time.
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of times it's a hit and miss. It's like, here, try this, right? We don't know how it's going to affect you, but here, try this.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? It's
Story
here-
of military medical, right?
Yeah, you gotta get your Motrin. You're good. But
Yeah.
I think personally,
And change your socks.
that
Yeah, I'm not taking it. You can have as much as you want.
Really,
Yeah.
really change your socks or your toenails will fall off. I'm living proof of that.
there's two things here. Like for me, I have never been a military discount guy.
Me
In fact,
neither.
I was that idiot that used to go in the PX and ask for military discount just because I thought it was funny. They didn't understand what the hell I was saying, but I thought it was funny. But when it comes to VA benefits, I have a hard line on this. The VFW commander referred to it as our workman's comp. And I think that is about as close as you can get to reality is, we all, like's been said earlier, we all signed the dotted line. We wrote a blank check. The fact that we're broken now and all this other stuff, tough shit. You got to foot the bill now. And to me, it's a hard line thing. It's not, there is no negotiating here because the country is responsible for taking care of its veterans. Right. We served the country freely. We weren't forced to do it. Now you own the bill. And that's the one area that I don't think you mess with. You have a bunch of trained fighters, veterans.
Yeah, you don't want them knocking on your door.
It's the last group, and it's probably one of the reasons why we'd never have a military coup or some sort of because everybody thinks Trump's going to become a king and everything. That'll never happen because the veterans will never let it happen.
Yeah,
But we're the last group you want to piss off.
Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to medicate us to take us off the board.
But the fact is there's so much we can do better to take care of our veterans. And I don't care what the price tag is. I really don't. We spend so much wasteful money on all this BS. Okay. It's time to turn around and take care of your people.
Well, look at the gear we left. Look at the gear we left back during Desert Storm, Desert Shield. Right. All the gear that we left behind during Desert Storm, Desert Shield. All the gear that we left behind in the withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really? I mean, the billions of dollars of gear that was left, that was operational gear. It wasn't like it was damaged and can't be moved.
You don't even have to talk about military gear. Talk about all the wasteful spending the government does anyway with studies overseas and transgender studies. Who gives a shit?
Or a toilet seat for the White House.
Yeah.
How to turn rats transgender.
Yeah, but
I think
But
what
you're
we're
never
vote people out.
going to mess with my disability pension or my disability compensation. But you'll spend.
If I could offer a perspective from down under, I think there's a big problem with the word help. When someone tries to help a group and they don't understand it, it doesn't matter how much resources you have, you're always going to be coming up short, in some ways making it worse. And the way I sort of liken government's funding or spending in veteran recovery programs, they're like, well, flowers need water. Here's a bucket of water. Boom, there you go. We're done. I can say on the spreadsheet, flowers need water. They need water. There you go. So without any understanding of how to apply the resources or even understanding of the group itself, I think it's very easy to go, well, I want to help with good intentions, but completely miss the mark. And I will share this. I'm not just one to point out problems. Two things that really worked for us down under was understanding how pain worked And it didn't matter if it was physical pain, emotional pain, or where it even came from. And it wasn't even necessarily veteran centric. This is just what we discovered, was that it got to a certain duration or intensity where it transformed without the person even knowing it into loneliness. I'm all alone. I don't know who to trust. And in the places that we've served in, that was our superpower. We could go through shit, go through hell and back because we had that trust. We knew who had our back. But then when we get out on Civvy Street and we try and trust people and we have that trust betrayed, that is like the biggest heart-wrenching, I don't know, my world has just been turned upside down. And the resultant fatigue of, okay, I'll own this. When I couldn't drop my guard because no one had my back, if I dropped it for a second, something bad's going to happen. It's going to be my fault. That resulted me being sleepless. So feeling alone, feeling fatigued, those two things in the observation we've had is not on the spreadsheet. And I see so many dollars spent in the veteran space. But again, this is just an observation from down under. Until we address the loneliness that people feel and the fatigue that they're in, a lot of these resources don't land,
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to touch on a comment that Rich just put up there. And I will say, Teresa, yes, you're right. But again, you're wrong. The VA as a whole has not had a decrease in the compensation because they go along with, FHA and cost of living. But as an individual person, there has been many cases where an individual has had a decrease in their compensation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't be VA wide. It shouldn't be a mandate. But
to me, this we have living proof sitting right in front of us that it's not a money issue. As much as we'd like to think it is, it's not a money issue. It's a priorities issue. You look at the last 5 years of federal budget monies that have been, set to the VA. It is increased every year.
It goes up with Social Security, not FHA. It goes every time Social Security gets an increase, the VA gets an increase.
So spending, and there was an expansion of employees that was sent to it, but yet we're not seeing the drop in issues or mental health, issues that are out there. We're not seeing that go anywhere. Matter of fact, we're seeing some numbers get worse
because
It's
everybody
like 20
wants
years
to
of
raise
war.
awareness.
Right.
Everybody
20
wants
years
to
of
raise
war.
awareness instead
Exactly.
of taking care of the issue. We've been raising awareness on post-traumatic stress since the early 2000s.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been 26 years, 25 years coming up since 9/11 happened and that war started in Afghanistan. And then we're 23 years went since Iraq started. We are aware that there's an issue.
Yeah.
Find a way to fix it.
So-
Who is
so
on
there-
here? Brian's on here. There are great nonprofits that are doing their part, but they can't do the entire job of the VA that has the full system of the veterans, that are logged in through the VA system.
So what people may not know though is there is a lot of programs that are being started, especially in the last couple of years. So I will shout on the rooftops at least the Utah VA. Okay, the Utah VA is the best VA that I've ever been to. And I know that some of the programs that they're implementing, they're trying to implement, all over. But one of the biggest things that they actually do is like a lifestyle medicine class. And I don't know if that is with all the VAs or whatnot, but here in Utah, at least, like they're doing like yoga classes and food mindfulness as mindfulness for pain management. They're doing food as medicine. They're doing all sorts of stuff that is actually kind of helping with some of that PTSD stuff, with some of the disability stuff, especially the yoga classes. They've got weekly meditation yoga classes. Like they've got all sorts of different things that they actually are trying to implement now to get people off of medications or to get people to get more help, and instead of just the awareness. So I know at least here in Utah, there is a lot of changes that are happening. I'm hoping that it's in the other VAs, but I would look into the lifestyle medicine classes. And
Okay.
there's just so much that's being implemented with the mindfulness, with the yoga, with the
Like everything
classes,
else in the civil
the
service,
group
there's a lot of
classes.
garbage throughout the VA too.
Yeah.
I've
Might as
I've
well just
filed
pick
I've filed
Ohio.
complaints against my doctor specifically. You know, the only word he knew was no.
Yeah. So I'm gonna comment
But there
on
are
this
some
one.
programs. That's all I'm saying is look into
Yeah,
the
it's hit
programs,
or
be
miss.
your own advocate, because some of the VAs really are implementing a lot of changes already.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead.
I'm gonna
Sorry.
comment on this one. So this is from Rich's YouTube from the Better Willis. I seriously doubt that there's a better Willis than me.
That's
this
got to
is-
be
is-
your. That's probably your wife.
I don't know.
She's
I
the
don't know.
best, Willis.
It is. It is the one that can say Eastern Kentucky.
Oh, there's Teresa. Hold on, we'll bring her up. Is there a point that you can get to that the VA can't mess with your compensation? So I'm going to say this because you could be 100% and do like Gunny and not go back and file a different claim. But if you are out there posting on Facebook, like say you got say you had your shoulder replaced, and that was part of your compensation. Well, the VA can see that, and then they can come back and investigate and open up a CMP exam and say, all right, well, you had a shoulder replaced. Now your shoulder's working like it's supposed to. We can reduce you. So even if you are 100%, they can still open up a claim and reduce your, depending on if you get better. Like I got a total knee replacement in my right knee. Well, I can't file a claim on that because I had a total knee replacement.
That's not
can
not
file a
necessarily
claim on
true.
that.
Well, I mean, I can file a claim on it. But
There's a couple different things there. So one of them is there is something called permanent and total. Permanent and
Yeah.
total, they won't take it away. But I was going to say, with your replacement, I had bilateral hip replacements, and they actually have given me disability for the replacements, for the residuals of the replacements, for the scar tissue, for the limitation in flexion. Even though my hips are better and I can still move around, there will be permanent damage that will be there because of the way they have to cut into the muscles, cut into the tendons, cut into everything. So they will give you residuals. So if that's something that you have been hesitant on, they will give you residual disability for that.
right. All right. Let's welcome Miss Teresa Carpenter to the show. Welcome.
Hey
Hello.
guys, can you hear me? I'm on my headphones.
Yeah, you look like you got a healthy plate there too.
Oh gosh, can you see it in the thing? I know.
I did see it when you put your phone down.
I just got my food out of the microwave. My husband is not in town, and he does all the grilling and cooking, and so got the frozen food for me as I get back from pickleball. But yeah, nice to meet everybody. I was just going to say I've been following this issue very closely. Tomorrow night I'll have Jane Babcock on the show. My name's Teresa Carpenter. I'm the host of the Stories of Service podcast. And Jane Babcock, you guys might know who she is. She's very prolific on LinkedIn, a very wonderful citizen volunteer who used to be a former VSO, and she's got a wealth of knowledge on this issue. I've also had Daniel Gade on my show. He wrote the book Wounding Warriors. A lot of people don't care for Daniel Gade. He is definitely one of those people that thinks the only people who deserve VA benefits are the ones who have been injured on the job, in combat, or in a training situation. And so we had a very lively discussion about that. Civ Div is another one I've had on my podcast. And I've studied this issue by reading Daniel Gade's book and wanted to understand this other side of the issue when it comes to VA disability. And yeah, just like I think you were saying, I don't have my glasses on, my contact lenses, but the female that's on the podcast, she was talking about this, kind of taking the other side about how it puts people in a dependency role. And that's kind of what Daniel Gade's argument is. But the best thing I got out of the book ultimately was that we have never been successful in trying to take away VA disability. Now, if that could change, and I love the way that us veterans all banded together last week when this rule came out. I did too. I put out a video, and definitely it was wonderful to see us all agreeing on something that's so universal. And I am not one of those people that agree completely with Daniel Gade. I see where he's coming from, but I don't completely agree with his side. But I think it's important that we hear those perspectives and we don't trash him, and we understand where these people are coming from, and we try our best to come up with a good way ahead where we balance the people who really are scamming the system to the people that really need this support. But I'm with you guys. We signed our name on a contract, And if we get hurt, I don't care if it's on the job, not on the job, doesn't matter. It is part of their obligation to compensate us appropriately is my feelings on the issue. But over to you guys.
Yeah, it takes two for a contract.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That's why, like I said, that comment that I saw where, we weren't medicated when we signed the dotted line, that really hit me. And I was like, ooh, that's
so true.
Really, it's a really hard pill for, people to swallow sometimes too, because you'll see a lot of those, for like a month and a half, almost 2 months, I saw nothing but like videos about veterans getting 100% disability on my TikTok. And it was videos of like glorifying it and saying,
I know.
Oh, well, a veteran who's 100%, P&T doesn't need this job. They'll leave real quick. And like, they're glorifying this. And it's just like, you're making it look like it was the recruiting station was open for everybody, right? The recruiting station did not discriminate. Like you could have went and did the same thing. So for a lot of those people who were saying, oh, it must be nice to, get your disability every month, guaranteed pay, paychecks and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you could have went and joined the military.
Oh, I know.
So,
I hate when those haters, and I also hate all the groups on these like platforms where you hear these posts that are just so obviously seeming like they're scamming the system. And I almost think that these are trolls from like the VA who go on there and they put the most disgusting, most obvious cases of scams. And I think they're just doing that to stir the pot because everybody wants division these days. And I honestly think that this rule last week was planned. I think this was a plant to see how veterans would react and to see what we would do. Yeah. I mean, they're not stupid. Like somebody else was saying earlier, they knew that people were going to freak out and they were going to do something. And so now they want to know, well, who are my enemies? Who are the influencers that everybody's following? Who's going to, and the thing that's so interesting about it though, is like I said, historically, they've never been successful trying to do this. So what makes them think they're going to be successful now, especially when the military industrial complex is spinning and spinning and spinning? Iran
and
Venezuela.
Our VP is a Marine.
Yeah.
Like
it seems to me like they're spinning their wheels and they're wasting their time because veterans are smarter than this. And we're the people that will speak up and speak out. Us and first responders.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the numbers. Rich, do you have the numbers of how many people commented and made a stink about it like within 24 hours? I think you posted something about the numbers, didn't you?
I didn't know the exact number was like 100,000 or something in the first 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
It went nuts in the first 24 hours, and I think it's up over 400,000 now.
Yeah, because I opened up TikTok the next day, and man, I tell you what, TikTok was blowing up, especially on the veteran side of things. It was blowing up, and I was like, holy cow. And that's the good thing about having, this platform here, the tip of the spear, is we can all come here and talk about it from our point of view. And, of course, you got all the people that are commenting and everything. And if you can't see the comments, you probably need to click over there and click on comments so you can see them. Because, man, I tell you, it's this here, we stated earlier that a lot of veterans were going to stop taking their meds because they're like, oh, man, if I'm better, they're going to lower my, my benefits and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, what about all these guys out here that have been on, the meds from the VA for 10 years and all of a sudden they're going to, drop off meds and then boom, they're going to be, up a creek without a paddle because they're going to go through withdrawals and then everything else is going to come leaking back in. And it's just like, oh man, it's going to get worse, 100 times worse before it even gets better. So,
well, and on top of that too, it's kind of a double-edged sword because then they stop taking it, and then the VA says, "Well, you stopped taking it, so that's on you." So,
yeah.
Well, and I mean, just the medication argument is so ridiculous to begin with because medications sometimes work, sometimes don't work.
But it's a temporary fix, no matter even if it does work, because it's not meant. Medication is not meant to be a long-term, problem solver.
Like I honestly think that they
chemical
were
cost. It's got to come off at some point.
Unless you got gout.
over President's Day weekend. That's all it was. Because what was also fascinating about it, because I'm a media watcher, is the fact that the VSOs didn't say a word about it until Monday. So it came out on Thursday, and then we had all weekend where nothing was being said. And I think that was also by design. Like, I think the VSOs wanted to get their story straight, and I don't know, maybe some of them were in on it. I don't know. And so that was interesting, because then you had all the influencers talking about it first. And so there might have been a way, because, you know, we're always being surveilled. So maybe they were surveilling which influencers, like CivDiv, like CivDiv's colleague, I forget his name, but he's also really huge on a lot of those YouTube videos. But they were probably looking at who were going to be the biggest adversaries, and who did they need to partner with, or who do they want to start providing information to and working with. So that could have been why.
So
I mean, that's where my conspiracy brain goes.
So it almost sounds like there's a lot of people who think that it was like rage baiting by the by the VA.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely could.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be completely honest. It wouldn't be the.
I mean, look how divisive this administration. Oh, every administration is. I've decided I'm no longer partisan, so I'm nonpartisan. But look how divisive everything is. I mean, look at that shit show of a State of the Union last night, where half the side stand up, the other half doesn't. It's so silly. It's I call it DC theater. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and all of us are tired.
100% theater.
Yeah.
So
If you're ever up there,
manufacture a problem, solve it, look like a hero.
Gene,
all that's for TV. Every bit of that's for TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have spent a lot of time in the halls, in the tunnels in DC, and I will tell you, I have seen from the right and from the left who hate each other on TV, but they're walking side by side in the friggin' tunnel.
100%.
Yes, I made that.
And they're having a general
today.
conversation like we are right here. There's no yelling. There's no in the face. It is so friggin' stupid. Everything that is being done is for the stupid cameras.
Same circus, different clowns. I've said this for the last 25 years of my life. Same circus, different clowns, man.
Yeah.
But the sad part is that they're controlling the masses by doing this. And the Epstein files were like the biggest example. I mean, after I saw the Epstein files and I read a book called We Are the Bad Guys, I was like, oh my God, because I kind of went from left to center, then I was a little right of center, and now I'm zero of center. I just think it's all a big scam, like either side. And I think that the VA was trying to do the same thing. I think they were trying to stir outrage, and they were trying to monitor who they thought were going to be the biggest people who are going to fight this, and what is going to come of it. And I was a little bit disappointed, but what I was happy about, like I said, was I saw a lot of veterans coming together and uniting and speaking in one voice. And that part of it I really appreciated. And I mean, I think that's a good thing. I think we all understand that this is, like you say, a benefit that we all signed our name on the bottom line, and we followed the law. Yeah. And we have benefits by law that we are entitled to. And I feel strongly about that.
Yeah, I think everybody here would agree that we all, it's something that we are entitled to when it comes to, serving our country honorably. And we, have PTSD, moral injury. You got blown up twice. Those are after we get out, that's something that should be there for us, whether we take it or not. Like for me, for example, when I got out in 2004, I didn't start going to the VA until 2022 or 23. And, it's just like, at that time I was like, oh, I don't need it. I got a job, I got health insurance and stuff like that. But the stuff that was going on in my brain, and my wife would tell you, she tried many years to get me to go, and I wouldn't do it. Somebody's dogs. And it, finally getting there, and then going to see a therapist and opening up and talking about the things that's going on with me. And he's like, well, I can prescribe you medicine. I was like, well, I don't want to take medicine. And the reason I don't want to take medicine is because I want to try to do it deal with the problems the right way and try to solve it without using medicine, whether just talking with somebody or when we were down in SOF for SOF missions down in Tampa, they recommended accelerated resolution therapy for me. So that's something that I got to check into and see if that works. I don't know if it will or not, but I've heard good things. I've heard bad things. So yeah, definitely.
Willis, speaking of getting out, I do need to excuse myself early. I've got a top of the hour appointment I can't get out of. But I will leave you with something. We've always prefaced that, all the money you make, all the money you get is not going to put back in what the service takes out. The money that you do get from whatever allowance is there for you to go on your seeking of healing journey, for you to get to your start point of, I joined to serve, and my healing journey is there to get me to the start point of serving again, bringing my gifts into the world. And that's my stand when I'm working, with veterans down under. And before I go, it would be remiss of me. I do want to leave you with some good energy. Do you want a little 1 hour in pick me up? All I'm going to get people to do is get their hands and just rub them together like that. Rub them together. Rub faster. Create the good energy. Now rub that good energy up your forearms. Rub up your forearms. Rub it up both forearms. And then slap it under your armpits. Take a deep breath in, look up, hold it, wriggle, 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 and let it out with a big sigh. All right. Shake it out. Thank you so much. You have a fantastic day.
Love you, Tim.
Love you,
Good
brother.
to see you, Tim.
No worries.
Have a good one, man.
That's some good positive energy right there.
Dude,
He always
I've-
brings it, man.
I've
Yeah,
been researching wriggle, wriggle, wriggle for a long time. I've been trying to get down to the bottom of that.
I have a cut on my hand and like
Ouch.
I was like
Did it-
fighting it the whole time. I'm like, thank God my mic's muted because I can feel the skin like peeling.
Oh,
back.
no.
Oh
And
man.
I'm like, oh.
I
I
thought you-
love that you guys have somebody from a different country here. Was he American at any point, or how did
No,
you guys
no.
get him on here? I think that's awesome.
So we
Australian
also
Special
have.
Forces.
So he's Australian Special Forces. I found him
Pippa.
on Facebook or whatnot. We had him on the podcast, and I think Rich, have you had him on your show?
Yeah, I had him on the show. He had me do those breathing exercises. I almost passed out.
I know Gene is going to have him on his show.
Already
I've been working on it.
Already had him on mine.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Gene's already
and
had
I've
him on.
I'm working on it. It's same thing with Gene. Have that time zone and busy. So
Yeah, and then
Awesome.
Pippa, she's usually on here, but she's traveling. She's from the UK. She's a British veteran. So I found her because she does the Journey to Purpose podcast. So that's how I found her. We had her on the show. I think she's been on other shows as well. So we are international when it comes to that, and it's awesome to have those outside views from outside of our country. So
Where's
Yeah.
Tabitha been?
That's awesome.
so Tab has been and Teresa knows who Tab Bartley's who we're talking about.
Oh, I know Tab. Mhm.
She's had some health issues in her personal stuff.
Oh.
There for a while, she was going to quit podcasting altogether, and I think she's going to start her podcast back. Sorry, TikTok is trying to. So she was supposed to come last month, but she didn't make it for some reason, and I hadn't heard from her today. So she'll be back when she's available. That's the good thing about the Tip of the Spear. We send out 30 plus invites for people to join, and whoever shows up. That's the whole purpose of this. If you can't make it, you don't make it. If you do, you do. So
This
and
is
it's
the most
always
we've had in a while, too.
Yes.
yeah.
Hey, before
She
so you're talking
freezes.
about medical.
There you go, you're
stuff.
back.
Can I throw out a? Sorry. Can I throw out? So, for those of you who don't know, I just spent 6 weeks inpatient. And I went into the psych unit back in December, and then I was introduced to this most amazing PTSD program that I had never heard of, and I want to throw it out there and for everybody to know about, either veterans or active duty. There's a program here in Salt Lake called Strong Hope. It's a 30-day comprehensive PTSD program that goes into, it starts all the way from day one, you know, your childhood, all of the schemas and the stuck points and everything that you've had since childhood. And then they go into any other traumas you've had in your life, into the military, all of the maladaptive behaviors you've ever done, addictions, this, that, and the other. They process through all of it. And they explain how our childhood schemas kind of affect into our adulthood and the things that we go through, how it validates some of those schemas and maladaptive behaviors and maladaptive beliefs, that's what a schema is. And how our traumas and adulthoods, you know, kind of validate that, and then how we react to other people. Because I had gotten stuck in some of my my trauma responses from childhood stuff, because my dad died last year, and there was some stuff that I didn't even realize was there, that had perpetuated, triggering my PTSD, triggering my borderline personality. And I was taking it out on my husband and the person I love the most. And so I went into this program, and this program is just phenomenal. So if you are struggling with PTSD, if you are struggling with complex PTSD, childhood to adulthood, you know, please, you know, ask your VA about the different PTSD programs that are available. This one is Strong Hope. They don't have a lot of veterans because the VA is having they have a hard time getting the VA to approve it because of how expensive it is. But a lot of the active duty personnel will come to it. And it's just phenomenal. Again, Strong Hope, Salt Lake Behavioral Health is who it's through. If you just need something like if your stuff hasn't been working very well, you know, and you need that extra help, check them out. They just are phenomenal. So I just had to throw that shout out.
What's it called again?
Strong Hope.
Hope.
Yep. And it's Salt Lake Behavioral Health. And it was just phenomenal. So I had to have actually like people help me fight to get the VA to pay for it, because it's such an expensive thing. And they just have, there's only 2 men's groups right now and 1 female group. And but it's just phenomenal. So yes, please check it out.
All right, so I just put the link in chat, and it's also up on the screen right now. So go check it out. I'm glad you're back. I know you've been gone for a minute, so I want to say thank you for you know, taking care of yourself, because I know that's something that you talked about beforehand. And you made a comment in the Cav Arts last episode that we did on Cav Arts, where I wasn't there, about compassion fatigue. So the first Wednesday of next month, when we go back in there, that's what that whole class is going to be about, compassion fatigue. So we're definitely going to be talking about that on Cav Arts. And if you don't know what Cav Arts is, it's Challenge America Veterans in the Arts program. It's cavarts.org. So go check them out as well. It's amazing. They got leatherworking, guitars for vets. You got the art of podcasting, all kinds of things on there. If you want to learn how to paint, it's on there as well. The only thing they request is that you be you don't be negative. You got to be positive on the website, because it's all skill levels when you go there. So just, you know, they just recently kicked the first guy out ever from it because he was being very negative. 76-year-old veteran, and he was just being negative all over the place. So they had to wind up kicking him out. So
Hold on. Podcasting is an art?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of
Good
course.
God, they will call anything an art these days.
It takes a lot to podcast, bro. You know that as well as I
was
do.
going to say, I've been doing it for 5+ years, and I still can't draw a stick figure. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the scarier thing is we now call Gene an artist. I mean, what?
Right.
There we go.
You'll let anybody in here if that's the case. Now, theory's an artist right there. For
That's
sure.
a different type of artist.
Okay, all
That's
right.
a different type of artist.
Cool.
'Cause there's all kinds of different art therapy out there. It just depends on what's your passion, whether it's leatherworking, painting, be podcasting, whatever. It's
As a podcast host, you have to be creative. It's
Oh,
all
yeah.
about creativity
yeah.
because you have to know what your audience wants. You have to know how to talk to your guests. It's all creativity, and it's both sides of your brain. So of course, it's
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
that.
Well,
yeah.
it's also storytelling. I mean, because every single time you do a show, you have to think, what's the angle, what's the hook, and then you and the guests have to be in alignment with what that is. And I really enjoy it. I'm trying to slow down because I'm looking at trying to start a support group here in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, where I live. I've reached out to the VA, haven't heard back. I'm hoping maybe I can partner with maybe one of the VSOs here because I need a location. But I'm learning a lot about even peer support groups. Some people say you got to have a trained professional there. So I'm looking into how I would go about doing that to have something that's structured. But I really want to kind of step back from some of the online stuff and do more in-person things.
yeah.
It's it's tough though, because I retired in September and I had this show for 5 years and it's become such a social outlet for me. But at the same time, I want to meet friends that live in my city and do things in my neighborhood, and other vets I think would be a perfect opportunity for that. So yeah,
Well-
I go ahead.
I was going to say I'd recommend looking at see what nonprofits are in your area, and get with them and see if they have something that piques your interest. Because there's a whole plethora of nonprofits out there. Mississippi, I don't know if I've had many on from Mississippi. I guess it just depends on what part of Mississippi, upper, lower, middle, wherever you're at. I know
I'm
in
right near
Tampa,
Biloxi.
okay. So I know in Tampa there's SOF missions. There's several on the panhandle of Florida. But I don't know about Mississippi. I'll have to go back through my database and see who's in that area. If not,
Well,
I'll start looking for them.
Well, it was interesting because I'm on this like Ocean Springs Talk of the Town page, which has
Mhm.
like 70,000 people. It's the big page for our town. And that's what I thought would happen when I said I was thinking about starting a mental health support group, and that if there was already one in place, I mean, I don't have to be the one that starts it. I'll just join theirs. And I said it was for veterans. I didn't say women veterans. I just said veterans. And it was interesting because I would think that somebody would have piped up and said, "Oh yeah, we already have this." But we do have a sports one, like an exercise group for veterans, which I thought was interesting for the Gulf Coast. But there was nothing that I saw in my town.
Have you talked to your state Department of Military and Veteran Affairs? Because
No.
usually they are so you've got the federal Department of
Sure.
Veteran Affairs,
Right,
but
right, and the
but
Mississippi VA.
Yes.
I
Okay.
know you're talking about.
So if you talk to them, usually anybody who is a nonprofit, they have to register with the, like, I don't know how it all works, but the State Department usually has access to all of the local nonprofits. So I would contact them and they can give you a database to look into to see what's available in your area.
Also,
Yeah, I
the
appreciate that.
IRS website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can narrow it down to state and just go click.
Yeah.
and
Right,
bang.
right.
So I just Googled veteran nonprofits in Mississippi. You got Friends of Mississippi Veterans. You got Fifth Squad. You got Warrior Bonfire Project. GV Sonny Montgomery Center for America's Veterans, located at Mississippi State University. Veterans Business Outreach Center. Mississippi Veteran Homes, and other organizations like American Legion, DAV.
I wonder if they would maybe consider like an Ocean Spring. Okay, so I'll just say it. Like, I don't even want to drive a half hour. I'm like,
I got you.
I live in a tiny little town, and I like
See ya,
my little
Sean.
town. And so I'm looking for something that's in our city. So
You got the American Legion post there.
we have a VFW in Ocean Springs, and I'm in talks to see if they'd be willing to host it, but there's liability issues. There's like I said, a trained psychologist issue. So I'm working through that. But yeah, it's an interesting process. I did AA and some of those other groups many years ago. But since then, I haven't really been a part of those organizations from a pure support group. But I think that stuff's really important, and I want to kind of work through this process and see where it leads me. So, Rich, I'll keep you posted. I'm not on your email list either for these groups, so if you ever need
Get
me
you
to
in
come
there.
back on, yep, I'm happy to do it.
Hey, Rich, you'll have to give me her email, and I
will.
will add her to the next one.
Definitely.
So we do it the last Wednesday of each month. The tip of the spear. That way it's brings people back. I mean, that's what I love about it. So, but it is about that time of night, guys. It is 8:09, so we've been on here for about an hour. So for the ones that are not, or the ones that are new, the way we end the show is I'll bring you full screen, and then you just say words of encouragement to our audience and everything. So that's how we end the show. So I'm gonna start with Mr. Gene. You ready, Mr. Gene?
Yes, sir. Hey, folks. So, a little positive midweek motivation. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, do something. Take 5-10 minutes to sit back, have a little sip on that coffee, and think about something you can actually do, some sort of action to improve your situation. Now, this might be for someone, it might be for you. It doesn't matter how big, it doesn't matter how small, but do something. Make it a day of action through the midweek here. Too many times we get too comfortable with sitting behind a keyboard and typing up a comment thinking we're doing our social justice, or we change our Facebook profile and we think we stand with somebody. I'm going to tell you, old guy over here, that's horse crap. All right. That's not making a difference. Do something for yourself, for somebody else, something small. Even if you don't make it, even if you tried and you didn't hit the target, come back the next day. But take action on something to move yourself a little bit further forward, or help your neighbor or a family member, whatever it is. Tight lines. Love y'all. God bless.
Miss Carol Lee, you're up.
Well, to kind of piggyback on Gene, I actually have to say, that doing that one little thing each day. I know from my own experience, when you get feeling like, you just don't want to do anything, you're exhausted, you're depressed, whatever the situation is, just making your bed in the morning. I mean, as small as that is, making your bed in the morning, it feels like you've accomplished something, and it helps you throughout the day. But that being said, thank you, Willis, for this channel, for having us all on here and bringing us all together. And for those veterans who are out there watching this, talk, share, talk, there's so many people that are willing to listen and just be a shoulder if you need it. So, and outside of that, keep your head on a swivel.
Miss Murray, you're up.
Hey guys. So I'm actually, as some of you know, I write, and I'm going to leave you guys with a poem I wrote while I was in the PTSD program. And this is just an encouragement for you guys to reach out for help when you need it. Call the 988 hotline, reach out to other people, other veterans, the VA, other support groups, whatever it is that you need. Remember that we can't do this on our own, and take time to evaluate what's actually going on in your mind and find peace. And so this is a poem called Calming the Mind. It's a poem of song titles. So I took a list of song titles and I created this poem. If you can close your eyes and slow down, what will you find? Would the sound of silence be too much for your mind? Would you unravel, or would you be undone? Would the landslide of memories be very fun? Would every breath you take bring you far away, or the pain of your past keep you lost in yesterday? Would hypotheticals cut your future seams ahead a boulevard of broken dreams? Or could you credit the past as growing pains and leave out all the rest until love remains? Can you allow for an unwritten future and stop asking yourself, what was I made for? Could you be present like nothing else matters until finally your castle of glass shatters? The one you use to protect your heart. Allow the revolution, walking on sunshine, to start. Imagine a life that's not radioactive. Don't stop believing God has peace to give. I'm a believer you can get off the shelf. You can find an urge for going and find love for yourself. Be just the way you are, yet always strive for more. And no matter what, keep knocking on heaven's door. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Good night. All right, Mr. Theory, you're up, sir.
How do I follow up with that? I got a beat for you, Marie. I'll get you in the booth. I don't know. Just be kind. Have some patience with people, and I know that's something that I'm working on myself. And just be kind. Love one another. Look out for one another. And just try to spread peace and positivity with everything that you do.
Amen, brother. Rich LaMonica, you're up, sir.
Hello, everyone. We talked about the divisiveness in this country and what makes it happen. Listening to talking heads on both sides of the aisle, listening to that 13-inch screen in front of you. Pause every once in a while and think to yourself, why is it happening? Why are they dividing us? Because they can divide and conquer. Stop your neighbor when they're walking down the street. Look them in the eyes. Look those 3 inches up from your phone. Say hello. When you're running, when you're walking, when you're in a grocery store, look at people. Say hello. Smile. Just a smile. And that will make them smile. That will make their day. And that's what I want to leave you with. But one more thing. I want to give a huge congratulations to the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover, last night for being recognized for his heroism during the raid to capture Maduro in Venezuela. He has sustained wounds and was awarded the Medal of Honor last night. So big congratulations to him and the whole Night Stalker family. Good night, everybody.
All right, Miss Teresa, you are up, my dear.
Awesome. My parting words are just stay positive, stay engaged in whatever it is you're going to do for the day. Be mindful, get your exercise in. That's a real big one. I try to do 10,000 steps a day. Well, however you do them, and however slowly you do them, just do something to move. As we age, that's so important. And give yourself things to look forward to. Plan things ahead that you can do to engage with other people and to connect. And I think that makes you excited about life. And you never stop having that curiosity to try new things. I did a book club this week. I've never been into a book club meeting. So just continue to get out there and like as much as you can, get off your phone, even though you're probably joining us from a phone. It's always great to just see people in person and meet them face to face. That's all I got.
Amen. All right. Well, I'm gonna end this way, guys. I'm gonna try to follow Gunny here. So you're not alone. Don't let the dark days wins. Remember, in the silence of your struggles, remember, though unseen, you are deeply held in the hearts of others. You are not alone. The uniform may come off, but the bond remains. And together we heal, together we rise, and together we carry each other forward. And the key word there is together. And then be someone stranger. Rich talked on it. Hey, get off your phones when you're walking down the street. Be someone stranger. Because listen, we as humans, we're more apt to talk to a complete stranger than the ones we love the most. So be someone stranger today. If you see somebody that looks like they're having a bad day, go up to them, say, hey, how are you doing? And if they give you the red flags, I'm okay, I'm hanging in there, living the dream, ask the next hard question. How are you really doing? And be ready for that conversation, because it could be a 5-minute conversation, could be an 8-hour conversation. And just listen. Don't try to fix them, because a lot of times we as humans, we just want to vent what's going on in our life. You never know. You could be the one that saves someone's life that day. But like we always say, stay safe out there. We got your six.